Becky, and today I'm going to tell you guys how to make a mask, a cloth mask to possibly cover the N95 mask that your doctors will wear. They could wear this over it very comfortably. My friend is a doctor and she asked me to make some masks for her, and we came up with this design because she already wears a mask similar to this with the pleats and the ties. Most videos you'll see out there, the ties, they use a corded elastic. We were going to make ours that way too, but when I went to the store to find the supplies, they were all gone, and it was going to take a week for me to possibly get it in the mail. So ties is plan B. So your finished product should be 7 inches by approximately 4 inches with these 1-inch pleats. So your pattern is here. So 7 inches by 7.5 inches. You'll have a 1/4 inch seam allowance at the top and bottom of your mask with 1.5 inches, and then your 3 pleats 1 inch each with a 1/2 inch space in between. So it should look like this when you're finished. When you do a pleat, you'll have the lines on your fabric. You fold and pinch and then put the pin in. Another thing that is different with our mask is we put a pipe cleaner in the nose area to hold its shape. Other videos talked about a twisty tie, and I had about 5 of them with no means to get any more, or I have no idea where you'd even buy these. So I'm a mom and I have tons of pipe cleaner. So the twisty tie is about 4 inches, and each pipe cleaner will make 3 masks. Now please, 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 when you cut your pipe cleaner, do not use your special cloth scissors. You need to use a non-fabric scissors so you don't ruin your fabric scissors and dull it. So you're going to cut it about 4 inches for every mask. Okay, I want to show you how to make the bias tape the Becky method. Okay, so each bias tape cord pieces need to be 36 inches long. So to cut your fabric really quick, my friend donated a whole bunch of yards to me. Now if you just bought 1 yard at a time, you wouldn't have to worry and you wouldn't have to do this step, but I found this to work really quick. So my cutting mat is 35 inches, so I just need to add 1 more inch right there to the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to mark the other side because my mat is not that big. Just kind of cut and line up. Take your ruler and line up your lines. My husband was so sweet, he went and got me a new blade, so this is super, super sharp. I like to run it through twice just to get all the little threads. And your fabric is cut. Now, open it up. This should be 36 inches in length. Now all of this width is going to be your pieces of bias tape. You're going to cut in 2-inch strips. Now I found that it works out almost evenly if I just cut this little bit of edge and then start with my 2 inches. have your strip. Ironing your bias tape is probably the most time consuming part. Now, if you have one of these bias tape makers, it makes it really easy and fast. I like to fold this in a little triangle and slide it into the machine. Use something sharp, kind of pull it through. This machine folds the fabric, so it is already folded in for you. You just have to iron. Slowly pull the machine down. Then you will fold your fabric in half and iron again. Again, your bias tape is 2 inches by 36 inches for the cord, and you will need 2 of them for each side of your mask. Now, if you don't have a bias tape little machine thingy, you can still do these. It's just a little bit more tricky. So you fold in about a 1/4 inch. Where is that at? A 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. You have to hold it as you go. And then fold again and iron one more time. It's hot. I don't worry about getting it too pressed because you're going to sew it down. It's not going to matter. Now, when you are choosing your fabric, I have been making mine with a cotton on the outside and a cozy flannel on the inside. I thought that it would be more comfortable for the doctors and nurses to wear. They might be wearing this all day. I have no idea. My fabric is all kind of random and kind of fun, I think, because it's all donated material that was given to me and scrap material I had. Just whatever I have, I am making masks out of. Now we will get to sewing the mask. I know you can do it. Use your pattern guide to mark the pattern for your pleats. Marking the top and the bottom. Then you will sew the top and the bottom of your mask with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Turn your mask inside out and find the top. I don't like to iron, so I press my seam down really firmly to skip the ironing part. Find the center of your pipe cleaner and estimate the center of your mask. This isn't about getting it perfect, it's about getting it made. And about 1/2 inch from the end of your pipe cleaner, you're going to want to zigzag stitch over that a few times. I like to use kind of a loose zigzag stitch to not hit the metal part of the pipe cleaner, because that will break your thread. Do one side and then estimate where the about a 1/2 inch is on the other side and do that side. Should hold the pipe cleaner in just fine. Okay, next you will be doing your pleats. So you want to line up the lines, fold the material a little bit, kind of pinching it to line up the lines that you drew from your pattern and pin them in place. And then do the other side. There's lots of videos online about doing pleats if you're not very good with, I guess if you're not very familiar with it. Make sure the material in the back doesn't touch. They should just barely touch. Again, it's not about being perfect, it's just about getting these made. And then you'll want to do another 1/4 inch seam allowance. And pull your pins out as you go. If you sew over a pin, often you can break your needle. Next, you'll want to find the center of your bias tape. I like to just make a little crease so I can ballpark where it is on my mask, and I pin it in place. And then you'll be sewing the bias tape at about a 3/8 seam allowance. Just go nice and slow so you don't accidentally sew off the edge of the tape. Sometimes you might have to readjust the mask to make sure it's pushed all the way to the edge of the bias tape. So when you sew, you catch the front and the back of the tape and the mask. This is going to be a nice finished seam. And that's it. You're finished. You made it. These masks should fit nicely over the N95 mask that the doctors and nurses wear at the hospital. But also the pipe cleaner will help stay on their face when they can pinch it down.